Words on My Skin, The Monster Within by Sabbi.B.Conscious. Journal entry 21. Love me or let me be, your choice. Dear Diary, so a night and afternoon have passed. We are approaching 9:30 p.m., and instead of me going over the legal brief for my case tomorrow, I'm here chatting with you. I must admit, both feel equally important, so let's continue where we left off. So by now, your homework is done. You have outlined what your life really looks like with your pros and cons while having some decisions to consider. I'm not going to touch on that. I'll give you time to think it through some more, but I will continue with my story. So, as I'm sure you've gathered, I was a married woman entertaining a married man. Even thinking about it now and rereading everything I've journaled, I know what drove me over the edge. I lost respect for my husband, Nate. This man was texting these women right under my nose. I clicked immediately into petty mode, saying to myself, two can play that game. And I will admit, looking back at my actions, it was very immature. I should have left expeditiously, packed up my things 3 years before when he first began his careless behavior. But I couldn't, because I loved the image of us, what we appeared to represent, and I was bound to our for better or for worse. The thing is, when you are the one consistently taking the high road by not acting on your impulsivity because you have a set of morals and ideals instilled in you, you later realize the disadvantage of being this way, especially when you are not with the right partner. So I didn't want to take the high road this time. I wanted to live on the edge for once in my life, to extract myself out of an image that was imprinted on me. I needed to unearth the parts of me that were buried, which would mean kicking over our marital cup that was already overflowing. I began to realize some men feel they can take you for granted because you're loyal to them. They feel like that's a rite of passage, as their culture dictates a woman should overcome the reckless behavior of their man. Men fail to realize, however, a silent decision is being made when she resists temptation that might plague her daily. She exerts self-control, realizing the emotional impact it will have on his needs. She suffers in silence, finding ways to soothe her needs. She remains loyal because she knows it is simply the right thing to do. But then the switch clicks, and one day she looks over at him out of the corner of her eye, confirming the love has died and the respect has expired. The result? Her engagement in her own infidelity without a second thought. And for the record, I never wanted to be intimate with another man while in a relationship. It always felt disgusting to me. And I'm not judging. I just couldn't comprehend how someone would allow more than one individual to dwell inside of them. Their treasure, their temple, their sacred space, and I definitely couldn't fathom this ever being me until it was. The boundaries I set for myself I dismissed, and my firm hold on controlling myself, on reining in my impulsive nature, I ignored. What was the point of that? I concluded. Stone understood this was his prime opportunity to capture me and put in overtime to make me feel comfortable around him. Our endless conversations loosened me up, and I started to see a possibility with someone else. I no longer thought about Nate turning his phone on Do Not Disturb at night so his calls and texts couldn't come through. I dismissed when he put his hand over the WhatsApp message he just sent when I passed by. Him going to the mall to pay a phone bill when he could stay at home to use his phone to pay it was sneaky, but I didn't care. Him not wanting to work out as a couple gave me the opportunity I needed to make my own phone calls. I took advantage of his trips back and forth to the supermarket for one item that he really didn't need. Better yet, he would come in from the supermarket, but the vibrating of his phone would send him right back out. He was sneaky and disrespectful, which made her comfortable. His silent permission gave her the confidence to call our home late at night when it was well past her bedtime. I heard him whispering in the bathroom with the door closed. He returned to our bed, leaning over me to see if I was awake. Sneaky. Then she calls my husband using her seductive morning voice. Yes, I heard her. It's the morning after their bathroom conversation. It is evident she spent the entire night forcing herself to sleep just so she could call my husband the following day. Her hair, an absolute mess, boogers in her eye, and stinky breath. Okay, I made that up. I couldn't see her, but I imagined what she might look like. Anyway, there he goes, sitting at our dining room table, phone in hand, stuck between a rock and a hard place. He wanted to indulge in this FaceTime conversation so I wouldn't suspect anything but the terror in his eyes as he sat directly across from me told the entire story. So, that's why I cheated. And that's why I left. Cheers to that. Thank you for listening to Journal Entry 21. Subscribe and join me for my next journal entry. Until then, be conscious.